What's happening, y'all? How you guys doing?
We're back for another episode.
Episode 3.
Yes, episode 3 of Better on This Side.
Consistency, guys.
Yeah, it took us a while to get into it, but we're into it now.
Yeah.
So today we're actually going to talk about drinking or sobriety and our journey with alcohol, our thoughts around it, and yeah, where we at.
Do you want to start?
Okay, well, I should probably start off
Hi,
with
I'm
saying...
Shelton and
both Shelton and I don't drink. And for me, it's been... What month are we on now? In December, this December will be 3 years for me.
Yeah.
And you?
4. I'm going for
in
4
March.
now.
But in March, you'll be 4.
In March? No,
Yeah.
I started,
next...
I was like way ahead of you.
You started in March and I started in December. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So 8 months before me.
Yeah, that's like damn near a year, dude. Like, all I'm saying is...
my maths is terrible.
Yeah.
So you... Okay,
like
you know what?
Year,
you stopped March 2020. So March 2024 will be 4 years.
It's not 2019.
No, it was in lockdown.
Oh yeah, 2019 I was turning up.
So I was right.
Yeah, so...
Anyways.
Yeah, so that's basically like the timeline. But I started drinking... Can we start about where you started?
Let's go back to where we started drinking. Okay?
So when did you start drinking?
I had my first sip of alcohol in 2005, so I was in grade 7.
Auntie Mary, Uncle Cliff?
No, they know about it, it's fine.
Oh, is it? Okay,
yeah, but it was also so like innocent. We were literally, it was this girl's bri or something, and she managed to get like a 6-pack of Brutal Fruit, and it was this like, come guys, so we like huddled around, but there was only one bottle between like 8 of us, and we all just like had a sip, passed it on, had a sip. That was like
I think the naughtiest kids are actually in private schools.
But that wasn't naughty. What? Guys.
Do you think I was drinking in like my school? We were watching. I was friends with a bunch of dudes, and we were watching movies in grade 7.
I will wait for Shelton to then share, you know, when he started drinking in grade 6 and where he was.
Okay, anyway, let's go back to you. So continue.
Anyways, it was very innocent, very sweet. When I think back on it now, it's so cute, you know? Like, we didn't do anything...
It's cute.
It's very cute. It's like, oh, guys. Like, it was very chilled. It was very innocent. We were at someone's home. I think their parents were even there, like, not with us, but, like, they were there in the house. And it was really fine. Like, no one had any issues. And I was like, oh, okay, this is... And I literally had 2 sips. So I don't think I was, like, drunk or anything, but I definitely had a taste of alcohol. So, yeah. 2005.
And then, like, what made you continue? Was it like you said? I think we always talk about it. Like you always say, was it a social thing? But I do know that like the beginning days it felt nice to be drunk. Like, be honest, like that feeling of being drunk and like being with friends. Like you always tell me about those. So like dive into like why you continued after those 2 sips of Brutal Fruit.
I think, you know, definitely it was like a kind of a peer pressure thing and just wanting to seem cool, because that's what everyone was doing. Everyone was, you know, sneaking a drink here and there. Everyone was like sneaking cigarettes here and there, and like, yeah, that was probably the reason why I carried on. But also, I hadn't had any bad experiences yet with like drinking. Like, it was just always fun. We were always laughing, and there was just the best memories ever. Like, it was never a thing of like, you know, someone's passed out or like someone has to get rushed to hospital. That did happen once in grade 9 though. Not to me, to someone else, and yeah, but we were all there for her. No, it's her story. I don't want to share her story.
Okay, you don't have to say the name, just...
She was basically she basically just drank too much alcohol and she was rushed to the hospital. This was in grade 9.
I thought you were going to be like, it was spiked or something.
No.
She had too much to drink at
Yeah, so you see
9.
what I'm saying? It was like, there wasn't any like people spiking drinks. No, she had too much to drink. She couldn't handle it. And she had to get rushed off to the hospital and had her stomach pumped. And it was, I think actually that moment was kind of an eye-opener for me because it was really scary. Like, she had to get rushed off and, it was just really scary. And, but still, carried on drinking, obviously. I wasn't like, I'm not going to drink now. I carried on drinking. And, I think, all the way up until, matric, early 20s, like just out of high school. So a lot of memories were definitely made, even though, actually, I was going to say even though you don't remember the next day, I remembered everything. Like, I was never one of those people who would drink to the point where I'm like, what happened last night? Like, no, like, I remember everything. So, not a terrible experience. That's just from the juvenile side. I think in my, like, mid to late 20s, there's, I'll touch on that shortly, but...
Okay, cool.
Yeah, what about you?
I started drinking properly, like obviously like I used to like taste like the leftover Castle cans of my mom and them or Black Label cans at like very young. I'm talking about like 8 years, 9 years old.
Can I just jump in quickly? Yeah. Does that count? We also did that.
That's alcohol, bro. In your little stomach, bro. Like, that's alcohol.
After brides or like get-togethers at the house, there would always be like that little bit of beer or like wine or whatever, and then we would all be like, oh my god, this is what it tastes like. Yeah.
So you started earlier than grade.
Yeah, so I think I was also
an alcoholic. I'm joking.
I was also 8. Yeah. 7.
Yeah, so I started at that time, but then my first time I ever got like really sloshed, like drunk, like walking, like stumbling, was grade 7. Was grade 7.
I'm laughing at you stumbling.
Yeah, it was really, really terrible because, well, it was amazing, but it was like bad because I went with my cousin, so she lived with us, and so she took me to like this one chillers. You know, for now, like now we call it like pre-drinks now, or like growing up we used to call it pre-drinks, but I didn't know I was in the midst of a pre-drink. Like I was like drinking during pre-drinks. These people were chill. They knew that they're going to the club afterwards. I took the pre-drink as it's the main event, dude. No. I got so drunk at the pre-drinks, but I went with them to the club and I was like standing in a corner like this, doing like this dance move for like a good 30 minutes. I was like this. In the corner, I was so drunk. I remember it was in Grant Avenue. It was a place called Moe's. Moe's Club. Yeah, so that's when I started like, that's when I really started like drinking. And then I started partying with my brother because I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the feeling of being drunk and like just the social energy of it. And I was like 13 years old this time, 12, 13. And my brother was 4 years older than me. So we all actually 4 years apart, all my brothers. So he was like 17, I think going to matric or like grade 11. So he was like pretty clued up with this drinking thing. And then I started partying with him. So I went to a club called Barcode in Grant Avenue as well. If you know, you know. Moe's. I started going to Sonodora or Louis Botha. That's like a Shabin, bro. I was like hitting Shabins at like 13 years old.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I started very, very early, and then in grade 8, I clicked up with this like crew of guys, and their thing was just to like pour like a bottle of like whatever we got into like 2 liters, and we downed it before we go to like socials. So then we'd walk to the social like, and we get super drunk, and then we just go to the thing. So I started I'll say fairly at 13. That's when my drinking really started. And I won't lie to you, like the reason why I started drinking was the feeling of like the innocence of like just being young and like drunk, and the experience of feeling drunk.
Yeah.
And I guess the liquid courage. I don't think we knew it was liquid courage back then, but I do remember the courage I had when I was drunk. I was able to just be like loud, I was confident, I was like talking a lot, you know. I would dance even though I couldn't dance. I would just be the one that always cracks jokes. But like when I'm sober, it was not always like that. So yeah, that's I think that's why I started. And obviously like the rest is history, yo. Like I then drank until 2020. Yep, so a pretty long run of drinking there.
Quite a few decades under your belt.
Exactly. What is like your craziest drinking experience in your teens?
So listen, and I've told this to you before, my my craziest drinking moment was I was way out of my teens. It was with you, and it was a few years ago. What year was that? 2018.
I think it was 7. I think it was 16. 16. It was 16.
No, we were in that Bryanston house though. That was 18.
No, that was at John's house.
Oh.
That was 16. That was in that Linksfield, Linksfield house, yeah.
Okay.
That was when I was still hitting Moloko hard, like when Moloko was like second home, 2016.
Yeah, that was the drunkest I've ever been in my life. Like I was just drinking champagne the whole night, and like I had like bottles to myself.
I went to so obviously like shout out to Rani and the dudes at like Moloko, the owners of Uncle Fauzi's. They definitely looked after me when I was always in Pretoria at the clubs. So one night I went to go, was it a performance or we were just going there to hang out, I think?
I honestly cannot remember.
I don't remember, but we went there, and so I think I made an appearance actually, and then we were hanging out, and we had the bottles, so I had the bottles and everything with like the dudes, and then Bianca, I think I asked for Rani to give Bianca like a glass of champagne. He was like, alright, cool. This guy came back with like a full bottle of champagne. I was like, okay, cool. Well, I guess there's your champagne. And so she was going. And then all of a sudden the champagne was done. So I'm like, yo, can I have another glass? He literally brought her another bottle.
God,
so Bianca was popping champagne there. I don't even know how many bottles you drank, but like it was one of those like nights.
I had two full bottles to myself.
Jeez, like, dude. But it was like, yeah, I won't lie. Like, it was one of those nights.
It was crazy. So that's the only night where I can say like it's all a blur. Like every other night I've ever drank, I remember everything. But that night, nothing.
I think we woke up at like 4 the next day.
Oh my goodness. We literally, we got home. I don't know what time that was. We woke up. It was like 4 p.m. We thought it was like maybe 10, 11. It was 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I was like, oh my God. Do you remember?
We slept on a single couch in a music studio, bro.
Yeah. I literally thought I'd lost my phone at some point, but it was actually just in the car, and it was just like, it was an absolute mess. Anyways, that was probably I'm leaving out a lot of details because just TMI. But yeah, that was the craziest like the most drunk I've ever been, and like I just hate that feeling of being so out of control, not knowing where I am, not having just basic things like walking to the car. I'm like struggling.
This one night I think it was towards our end of our drinking reign, and we went to Malvo.
Oh no!
And Bianca literally broke 4 glasses that night at 3 different places.
Guys, I get so
It just kept happening, and I was just like, we were standing in the middle of like this one like circle, so we had and this was like my manager at this time, so I'm building relationship. We just finished my performance, we standing at the club, and they inviting us to the section, so we all pouring drinks there, and I think Bianca grabs like a drink to pour herself a drink in these people's section, and you just hear like in them. I'm like, oh my God, this is bad, dude. And so it was that night where I realized, I was like, yeah, no, Bianca's a
sorry, that was the second night. So there's 2 nights. That was the second night, and it was, I just get clumsy. I'm like, I was just crying. Like it was just like, what's happening?
On the way home, I'm buying us sandwiches, and like we're eating the sandwiches in the car. This is 3, 4 in the morning. Bianca starts crying.
No, way earlier, because the sun was up.
Oh, so it was like
maybe 6.
Bianca starts crying. I'm like, why are you crying? She's like, I don't know why I'm crying.
I had no
But while
idea.
she's eating her cheese, I remember it was chicken and mayo sandwich. I'll never forget. I was like, this is hectic. Anyway, so yeah, you've had some super adventures.
Before we go into why we stopped drinking, do you want to share a crazy story? Because you've got plenty. He's got plenty.
Nah.
I'm joking.
I'll tell you like my one crazy story. I'll always remember this night. Like I've had a lot of like drunk nights, but this was like probably one that stood out for me because it was like early days. So we're at my boy's house at New Year's Eve, on New Year's Eve, and it was like a Portuguese family, and if you know Portuguese families, like there's a lot of wine always. Like there's always wine, dude. Like So we
And good food?
Yes, oof, that was like buffet, like just so much food. The mom was forcing us to eat from 7 until like morning hours. So I got super drunk. I was drinking papsak, dude. Like this, I was like, what? This is grade 8, end of grade 8. I was drinking papsak, dude, but like a lot of it. It was still that no-name, Pick and Pay no-name papsak, dude.
Oh, no.
And I drank, you know the long glass, like the normal long glass that you drink water in.
Yes.
I was downing so much wine out of that thing. So everything was going amazing. I was so drunk. I ended up like flirting with like his aunt.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like she'll never, because I used to go to his house every day. Like, and I saw her there every day. What was her name again? Mana Magrasa or something like that. It was like one of those like Portuguese, like they from Mozambique. So I was talking to her and I'm like, she's trying to watch TV. And this is like an auntie trying to watch TV on New Year's Eve. Now, you know there's some stuff playing on TV. There's people performing. I think we were watching Tevin Campbell and them. And so I'm sitting in like the arm of the couch and she's watching and I'm just like whispering in the ear. I'm like, yeah. Ooh.
Oh no!
And my boy would keep looking at me and he'll be like, no, bro, come on. And I think I was macking on her for like 20 minutes. Nothing happened. It went nowhere. And I ended up like going to the room. They ended up putting me in the room. And I was like...
You what? Alone?
I was tired. No, I was like really drunk. So they put me out into the room. And I just started like fake spasming, dude. I was like shaking. I don't know why. I cannot explain why I was getting fake spasms, but I was just like acting crazy.
Oh my god.
I was like, you know when you're drunk and like you're laying down and the world is just spinning, it's like spinning. People are having fun outside, dude. I'm the only one that's this drunk. People were not drinking with me that pops the way I was drinking that pops out. And I'm just laying like this and my head is spinning and something just tells me, just shake your body. I'm like,
oh my god.
It's so bad. Like I will remember.
Did they come into like?
Yes, of course. He was like, bro, are you fine? I'm like, I'm good, dog. I'm good, dog. And then as he leaves me, I'll do it again. And I'm like, oh, so now I'm kicking the cupboard, so they keep hearing that. So bad. But I know that I faked it. And then, so I think I was like a faker. Even, I remember the St. John's. I remember I went to the St. John's and Cares Rugby Fest. And I faked an asthma attack because we were in a fight. And I think I wanted like attention.
You needed an out or something.
No, I wanted attention. I wanted people to like, I don't know. It was just like a moment. Like I think I got punched in the stomach.
Why did kids do this?
I was like,
so weird.
And I was like, I think I was winded. And everyone was like worried about me. But then I was milking it. I loved the attention. I was like, ooh, this is nice.
So embarrassing.
The ambulance came, guys. I'm talking about the entire, like everyone that was there. If you were like hanging around me when I was like grade 9, grade 10, and it's like the rugby fest crowd, and you were there that night, you'll probably remember because I was standing on the steps. There's those St. John steps that goes up like this.
You were there.
Yes. I was sitting on those steps, and all our friends were around me, and there were paramedics like they were trying to help me, dude, and they trying to make me like take an asthma pump, and I didn't know how to use the asthma because I told them I had asthma. I'm like. They were like, that's not how you take asthma. They were like, that's not how you take asthma, so I think you're fine. I'm like, I'm not. Then the paramedics told my boy to just take me home. They're like, just take him home. I think he's just had too much to drink, and they took me home. So those are like my most embarrassing drunk stories. So yeah. Anyway.
Alright.
Yeah, so I think from there it became great. Like I don't think I've had any bad experiences after that.
Honestly, that is so funny.
But anyway, yeah.
Okay, well maybe we should just chat a bit about why we decided to stop.
Why did you stop? I stopped before you, obviously.
Yeah,
I don't remember it was that one night.
Go first.
Okay, cool. So, well, for me, I think, so when I got Vuzu, right? I think everything was just escalated because before I made like my mainstream break in terms of like TV and everything, like I was drinking like normal. Things were still fine, I think. But then when I got too much access to it and it was just given to me too much, I think I really was becoming like outlandish. Like I was really being irresponsible. I was missing flights. I was performing drunk. I would show up to work on TV like very hungover when like I would end up in like back seats of like my car. I don't know how I got home. I don't know who drove me home.
That is so scary.
Yeah, like it was a lot of nights like that where we woke up and like my boy is that side of the car. He's probably sleeping in the front. I'm in the back seat and I like kick the front seat. I'm like, yo dog, how do we get you? And we're like in the parking lot of my house and I'm in the back seat and he's in the passenger. So I don't know who drove us home. So there was just a lot of nights like that. And I think that is one of the biggest reasons why I personally stopped, because I don't think I liked the person I was when I drank. Like I'm a very fun person. I'm very like clownish and I talk a lot. I'm not really violent, but I also don't know when to stop. I'm a type of person, if we go to the restaurant and I have a few drinks,
you'd be like, let's get another one.
Yeah, so where are we going after this? Like, oh, let's go to that place. So let's go. So I would never know when to stop. And I think the issue was when we started bringing it home, like when we now buy alcohol to sit at home, 2 men, and get drunk at home. It's like, that's a problem. You're not drinking to relax. Now you're drinking to really go all out. So there was just a lot of like irresponsibility. I didn't like the person I was. And I think when I went through depression as well, like my 2017 phase, I drank then even more than, I think we used to punish 2 5 liters.
Yeah.
Like 2 men. Like we'd be like the 5 liters that we like, we get another one, and we drive out before 7-Eleven closed in Sunny Hill. No?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So like that's how hectic it was. So I think it started, first so I was out of character, and then it started becoming medicinal. So I started drinking to like cope with stuff. And I think when I started when I stopped smoking weed, which was like a year before I stopped drinking, I think that's when I kind of started clearing up. My head started clearing up a bit more, because when you drink, it does affect your nervous system. So if you're going through like things like depression, or if you're going through just like very hectic like emotional like periods or like mental periods, like drinking is probably not the thing you want to do, because it does affect your nervous system. I remember having a lot of conversations with your dad about like drinking and nervous system, and I'll be like, but why am I drinking? I'm not asking him that, but I'm just like hearing what he's saying about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's probably why I feel this way or that way. So yes, and then I think I started just becoming like better in terms of like how my mind was feeling. I started like working out more. I started like changing my lifestyle more. It was slow and gradual. It was like over a period of like, I'm saying from 2018 and I stopped in 2020. So it took me about 2 years to kind of slow down on like the drinking thing, and I wasn't drinking as frequent anymore. And then I think I was drinking, I think before lockdown, I was still drinking like on a Monday at my mom's house in Easter's. I would have like 2 quarts on a Monday night and Hubley.
A nightcap.
Yeah, it was on a Monday. Like that's when it's like it's a bit weird, So I knew it was either gonna get worse or it was gonna be like bad, and I'm very good at cold turkey. So when I stopped alcohol, it was at a point where I think lockdown hit. I think we made the decision maybe 2 weeks into lockdown or 3 weeks into lockdown. We were like, it's gonna go one of 2 ways. It's either we're gonna like lose ourselves, fall pressure to like the whole craziness that's happening in the world, or we're going to like take the other way where we can use this to our advantage. And so for me, lockdown was like my biggest help to stop drinking alcohol. But I was still hunting. Trust me, I was making the calls. Like, I was like, hey, do you guys have alcohol? And I was literally calling people to if there's alcohol. So I didn't completely just cold turkey. But I knew when I started actively like working out and eating better and meditating and also I didn't have access to alcohol that much. It was easier for me to be like, oh, I'm done. And then I think 2 months into it, I was like, I think I'm done drinking. I don't remember what the alcohol brand was, but they sent me this whiskey. And it was literally in the house. This is during lockdown. This is 2-3 months into lockdown. They sent me this box of whiskey, beautiful packaging. That thing stood in the house for like a year. I did not touch it for like a year. So that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I think I'm done with this thing, you know? So yeah, I think lockdown definitely helped me, but I was very aware. You know when you're like aware, when you're like messing up. You know when you know you should not be doing something. It's like those situations when you coming from the club and then you see those people driving a bike on a Sunday morning. You're like,
yeah, they do.
I want to do
like,
that, dude.
You're running and you like
exactly. So I felt like that every single time the next morning, or every single time when I'm like in the middle of a club and I catch myself, or in the middle of just drinking and I catch myself, or I see someone on TV that I know doing amazing, or when I see like, you know, just when you see something outside of yourself that you know you should be or where you should be, I always caught myself in those moments. And so I just always knew that I wasn't supposed to be indulging and like, you know, being intoxicated 95% of my life, or just not like living like the life, the potential, or living out the potential that I'm capable of, you know. So it definitely was a mixture of me getting healthier and also just moment in time, like what happened, which was lockdown. Like it so happened that's what happened, and it happened at the same time. Like I was getting better,
perfectly aligned.
Exactly, you know. So those are my 2 reasons why I stopped drinking, and then I'll tell you guys just now how amazing it's been ever since on this side.
On this side.
Yeah, yours?
Yeah, so definitely March 2020, obviously, okay, lockdown, and so very similar to Shelton, you know, just basically starting to question my alcohol consumption. And at the time I didn't know that there was like a term for this. Like it's called sober curious. So when you're sober curious, it means that you start getting...
So I'm not laughing at you, I'm just laughing. Like when I knew I had a problem, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, being sober curious is when you start to become curious about your alcohol consumption. And it can be things like, you know, why do I drink? Like, what does this give me? Like, is it because I want to feel more confident? Like, just all of these different things. And so during lockdown, you know, that was, of course, a time where we were all indoors. We all had to really get creative with like how we were going to spend our time. And so during lockdown, I became very in touch with myself, and like I was asking myself a lot of questions, like, you know, if this is it for us, like, have I done everything I wanted to do? And alcohol kept coming up every now and again. And so Shelton had stopped a few months before me.
8 months.
And so you had like completely stopped. You did have a few on your birthday, which I think you need to talk about, because that was like in the middle. And I think that's kind of like the confirmation that no.
Yeah.
But I was kind of on and off. So sometimes I would have, sometimes I wouldn't have. And like, so my thing with alcohol is I've never been, you know, I was always able to be like, okay, I'm just having 1 glass of wine and like, that's it. But what I started to notice is that I was having, like, let's say 1 glass of wine or whatever my drink was, I was having it for like 4, 5, 6 hours, the same glass. And that's when I knew that maybe I don't really enjoy the taste of alcohol. Like, maybe I'm doing this because of, you know, out of habit, and because this is how we've been brought up in society, in our society, you know, like alcohol and having a good time go hand in hand, or they seem to go hand in hand. And so, I was just questioning a lot of things. And so I also realized that I just didn't enjoy the taste of it anymore. Like, we would go to a restaurant, Charlton wouldn't be drinking, and I would have a glass of wine, and it just wouldn't taste right. Or I'd have like 2 sips, and I'm like, why did I order this? So, you know, I think...
Was it not tasting like good anymore? Or do you think like it was like your mind that just changed?
No, it wasn't. I think it was both. Like, it wasn't tasting good anymore. My body was just not enjoying it. Like, and that's also what happens when you become so conscious, you know, mind, body and soul, when that becomes one. So whenever I drink anything or eat anything, because I'm so in tune and everything is so aligned, I'll immediately feel how it's impacting like my stomach, for example. And I was just like, why do I want like a burning sensation in my stomach? Like, why do I want to drink this? And so yeah, I just became curious about like, why am I drinking? Like, what is this for? And a lot of things came up. Like, I would drink because it would help me feel more confident. It would help me feel more relaxed. It would help me feel, just all sorts of things like that. And then I was like, okay, but I'm sure there's other ways to feel confident or to feel relaxed. And I don't need to have a glass of wine every evening or glasses of wine every evening to feel relaxed, you know, because actually, anyways, that's more like scientific and everything, but it does affect your brain. And like when you drink, you don't actually, let's say you have a big night of drinking and then you go to sleep, you don't actually get to reach your REM sleep state, which is like your deep sleep, and that's where you get your rest. Your body never actually is allowed to get into that state.
So you're not actually resting.
You're not resting, and so that's why you'll wake up in the morning, you know, you're hungover, you're tired, all of this. And so that's why like when people are like, oh, we're gonna go rest this December, you're actually not resting. Like, you are putting toxins into your body, and your body is fighting, you know. The fact that like you drink a shot of tequila and it burns your insides, like, that for me is just like, oh my god.
We
like,
feel that now, like when we drink even
it's
like
scary.
just cough medicine.
Yeah,
when we have
the
flu,
alcohol that's in there.
Oh my gosh, like it burns. Or even I think that you put under the tongue.
Yeah, the mulane drops.
Yeah, mulane drops. It's like, it tastes like rum. It tastes like like Richelieu, dude. And you put it under your tongue and it just burns. So I can't imagine how much of that I used to put in my body. And I used to love tequila shots. Like I used to be the guy.
Yeah, so, and also like reaching this age where it's like for so long you've been putting this into your body, like I think it was also just, I wanted to challenge myself to be like, hey, what would it be like if you didn't drink? You know what it's like when you are drinking all the time, and you know, but now like I have to face things head on, and you know, it's so scary, but I feel like in the last like 2 and a bit years, I've grown like, I don't know, 10 years.
Yes.
I feel amazing.
I think that question that you ask yourself, I think I always talk to you about it as well. It's just like, let me try this. Like I've tried, like you're right, I've tried this. How is it going to be on this side? Like, and to be honest, like you said, I think the benefits from not drinking is like, it's more than just not being hungover, guys. I promise you. Like I'm not selling sobriety here at all.
And also just you know, never judging if you are on a path where you are still drinking. Like,
everybody around us
drinks.
Sipping.
Everyone drinks,
and we love them even more.
Yeah, and we don't. We don't judge anyone, and we don't say, oh, we are amazing and we are so whatever because we don't drink. It's more so just for our like relationship and for who we are as people, and like it's a personal choice. Yeah. Because we get to experience life like in 3 or like 4D. 4D. You know, it's incredible.
Like literally, there's no escape. I think that's what's like scary, but also real, but also amazing. It's like when you sober, like I used to be the person for sure that when I'm going through something, I just can't wait for the weekend. Oh, I used to just roll a blunt. Oh, I just used to go smoke a hubby. Like I just be like, let's go smoke. Because I know I'm going through something, and I'm talking about even especially that time in St. Audley when we were like every single time we just be
we like, used to self-medicate, and that's when we were like really deep in depression, and it was one of those things where, you know, that was kind of our only coping mechanism. And it's like when you're so deep into it, you know, I can't call Shelton out, Shelton can't call me out, we can't call each other out because
it's just a party.
Yeah, we just in there because it's so comfortable, and it's something that makes us feel good for that moment, but for the long term it's terrible. Like it did not have any benefits on us, but you know, at least we were able to heal and move through all of that. And I think also after we kind of came out of depression, we were then able to make decisions like, okay, we don't want to take substances, you know, we want to do more meditation, more working out, more eating well, more drinking water, more sleeping enough, like that kind of stuff. But it, like you said, it was a process, and it doesn't happen like this.
No,
it's
no,
like
of course,
it is kind of like a domino like effect.
And you're gonna have to have a very, very strong reason to stop. It should not be because you want to be fit or you want. It's like I guess that is a part of it, but it's like it has to be like this bigger decision, and it comes only from within. Like I can't sit here and pinpoint why I stopped drinking. I just know that something switched inside of me that didn't want it anymore. I can say COVID helped me. I can say this helped me, that helped me, but what I do know is when it switched, it switched. Like B said, so my birthday, I think, was it after COVID, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so you stopped in April, and then
September was my birthday, and so I was at my mom's house, and I mean, everybody's drinking. You know, like I'm colored, like my family, we turn up. Like I'm not saying all coloreds drink, but my family in the hood, like in yesterday's, we drink, you know, so while they drink. And so there's never, like they used to look at me like, no one was ever like, oh Shay man, let's go sit with you. We used to be like, oh, you're gonna go watch movies, I could go sit with the kids. They let me go sit and watch movies with the kids, and they'll continue drinking. So no one felt for me, no one was like, you're doing great. Everyone was like, oh, you're not drinking anyway.
Hi.
So it was one of those things. So it was one of those. It was my birthday. And they were drinking, they were going crazy, and I was sober the entire day. And then I think it just clocked 8 o'clock, and I was like, I'm just gonna try one Castle Light.
And you have the excuse of your birthday.
Yeah, you know, I was like, let me just try it, you know, like and understand, at this time I didn't have the strong, I'm never drinking again. Like I said, my motivation for not drinking was not strong enough still. Like, I didn't have a reason for it. I was just like, I'm not drinking. And so, I drank that day. And trust me, I was having fun. I had like a lot of, but I was drinking just one thing. I drank Castle Light only. And so the next morning, whoa, I think I my system was so messed because I haven't drank in like 9 months. And I was so sick, guys. And after that next day, I decided, I was like, nah, I think I'm good. Again, I don't know why. I just felt it. I was like, I think I'm good. And I think everyone feels that when you babalas. Everyone's like, I'm done drinking. I had one of those mornings, but this morning was like it for me. And I could feel it. It was done. And so since that time, yes, I just didn't. But like I said, sorry, my point is you have to have a big motivation to do it. Like it has to be strong enough. And also, like you are going to get tempted. You are going to get lured in. Like you are going to have moments. And we had it the other day where I was like to you, I was like, would you drink again? You know what I mean? Like I did ask you, like, would you drink again? Because I had a moment. I had a dream last night that I drank.
No way. Beer.
I was so pissed.
Beer.
I don't know what I drank, but I was just drinking and I was so angry at myself when I woke up this morning. But that's only because it's a thought that keeps lingering. So I don't crave it. I don't want it. It's just, it really is like a thought that has to come for me to be able to face it and be like, would I drink? Why did I stop? Because till this day, I can't give you a definitive reason why I stopped drinking. All I know is it's not me at like my core anymore. Like I don't associate Shelton with like drinking anymore. I can't imagine myself drinking. And again, like I said, it's not terrible or bad. I don't like the person I am. I don't like the Shelton that drinks. You know, he's very inconsistent. He has the world's potential, but he doesn't live up to it. He drinks and says or does things that the next day he doesn't remember he did. He's dependent on something. He has a vice. He has a weakness in this world, which is going to be drinking. Just all those different things. So, and I can go on and on and on. But that's, again, I said that's Shelton. I don't know if you have a good relationship with alcohol and you can handle it. Like that's amazing for you. So yeah, I think like that's definitely like the thing with drinking. And I think like you said on this side, trying this other side, like I won't lie to you, man. Like it's a scary like thing sometimes, because when you're going through a tough time or when life is hard, fortunately we have found tools, whether it's meditation, whether it's reading, whether it's working out, whatever it is, I just feel like we have finally found our like feet when it comes to dealing with reality when life is super hard. Whereas, like I said, back then was like, you want to drink, you want to smoke a blunt, you want to do this and that. So, like you said, you see life in like 4D, and it's like, for real. You see the flip side to that reality, or you facing life every single time, good or bad. The beautiful part about it is when it's beautiful, the sky is blue, like the grass is green, like the birds really do sing. You know, I know this sounds so corny and like airy fairy and like birds flying high.
That literally
but
is
it
what
literally
happens.
is, you know,
it is
it's
what
like,
happens, and you just have like a deep appreciation for life. And okay, so you asked just now, well, you were saying just now that you mentioned to me the other day, will I ever drink again? So my answer to Shelton was that, you know, I'll never sit and be like, I'm never drinking alcohol ever again. Like, I do feel that like when we put those like barriers into play, then we more likely than not are gonna break them. And you know, so I'm just kind of like, I do what's good for me in the moment. And you know, I don't see myself ever drinking how I used to drink, or how frequently I used to drink. But I did say that maybe in Spain or like France or somewhere on some island, maybe I'll have a glass of wine. Who knows? Yeah. But I know that, you know, with all the knowledge now that I have, and also the experience that I have of being sober and being in touch with my body and, you know, my mind, body, soul, that connection, I don't think I'll be able to go back to, you know, binge drinking or you know, self-medicating through alcohol, like stuff like that. No, because I'm on this side, and it's amazing. I feel like I have more fun than I've ever had my whole entire life. Like, we will go out and be around drunk people, and we are laughing, we're having the most amount of fun. Like, it's not, it actually feel more confident. Like, I take more risks. I'm more like also comfortable in who I am. Whereas when I was drinking, I felt like I was playing a character to kind of fit in. Whereas now I'm like, I can literally be myself, and it's so chilled. And we also don't walk around announcing like, hey, we don't drink. Like, no, we just arrive.
I don't think anybody knows that we don't drink until it's like offered.
Yeah, and then we're like, no, we don't.
We will say that like the waitresses at restaurants hate us. But
they literally hate us. They'll
because
come with
obviously
the wine
that's where they make their money
list.
also. Like, I know we used to spend like damn near almost 1,000 rand every single time when we just go out to go have a dinner. We literally, our meal is like 300 rand. Like, we'll probably get like a platter of something, and then the drinking goes on for like, and then we order a hubbly, and then we're just going wild. Then the people, then they love us, you know. But now it's like, we're like, no,
we literally have
a glass of water.
We don't even have like, you know, sometimes I'll probably get like a Sprite or Coke or something, but we literally just have water and like what we eating, and then we go home, you know.
I think, what was it? Was it the other event we went to? I literally had a coffee. Like, everyone was like drinking. It was like people were partying. It was like at that time when now the bar is open, the event, all the formalities are done, people are now sipping. I was like, yeah, can I please have a cappuccino?
Yeah.
With my 4 legs folded. I really enjoyed that. I was like,
this is nice.
I'm in my 30-year-old phase, bruh. You know, so yeah, it is. And again, like, I romanticize it. I think we romanticize it a lot, and in a good way. Because
that's
it feels
really
good.
helped. That's helped
amazing.
So much.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Like, we
thing?
are those people that people see now in the morning when they babalas. We are the people that are walking or working out or going to a shoot or doing something early. Like, it's nice to be on the other side where you can see.
A lot of time.
I always tell you, I'm like, yo, that guy looks broken. There'll be people that just walk in, their faces are red, they look broken.
They're so inflamed, they're like puffy. Because that's also what alcohol does. It causes inflammation, and you can see it like in someone who drinks a lot. I used to be so puffy all the time, and I'll just be like, how do I fix this? Like, what do I do?
Sorry, you wanted to say something?
No, I forgot what I wanted to say.
I'm sorry.
No, I interrupted you. Oh no.
It's fine. Anyway, for everybody that is going through like a really tough time, and like if you are dealing with like like we said, mental or like just emotional trauma or like just any challenges, like my advice to you, and like I obviously don't want to come off as like this perfect person with the best advice or any advice at all, but I think what might make you feel better just until you find your feet again is to just stay sober through those tough times. Like it really does help. I promise you, like that is a guarantee. It will help alleviate like the heaviness of what you're going through. It's not going to completely take it away, but you'll be able to deal with it. You getting drunk and being destructive and like towards yourself or to the people around you that love you, that want to help you, it is only making you swirl deeper into that hole. So and it's also like messing up your nervous system, your neurological patterns and it is patterns, right? They're not connecting, and then you're not like thinking how you should be thinking. You're not in this mind state that you shouldn't. Even days after drinking, your body is not in a neutral state, so you're not in the right space to even be dealing or going through the emotional or mental stuff that you're going through, and so your decisions will be questioned, and you will make decisions that you regret later on, and it also will be harder to deal with the weight of what you're going through. So that's just a side note, really, for everyone that is dealing with any of these things that's really impacting society today. I think sobriety, even if it's just temporary, just when you're going through a tough time, I think just try it.
I think definitely also like becoming sober curious, that's very helpful, because it's just creating that awareness. Like, you know, if you go out with friends or family, whatever, and you guys are drinking, you don't have to announce it to everyone, but for yourself, you know, you'll start...
announcing is the worst mistake you're going to make.
You'll start to ask questions like, like, do I like the taste of this wine? Like, as you're sipping it, to yourself, and take note of those answers. Like, if you're like, no, actually, I don't really like this, that's also fine, but that's something to think about, you know. And maybe instead of, you know, being like, oh, I'm not going to drink, or I have to be sober to be successful, whatever, like, you can look at just slowing down your alcohol consumption. You can look at maybe not drinking during the week and only drinking on weekends, or like some people only drink on special occasions, or like that kind of thing. Like, if maybe you aren't like Shelton, you can't go cold turkey, I'm also like that. Like, I kind of tapered off my drinking, and then I started.
I cold turkey.
Shelton was like, I'm out.
And I'm out.
But, you know, everyone's different. And so I think definitely, like, what we can say is not drinking, I feel happier. I have less stomach issues. I don't care if it's TMI, but my digestive system is so much better. And, you know, if you think about it, you're putting toxins into your body, and then your body has to work so hard to expel all of those toxins. That's why there'll always be these jokes about your liver, and oh, my liver's like blah blah blah. It's like it's quite a serious thing, and instead of your body being able to focus on sleeping and resting and rejuvenating, it's focusing on your liver trying to get all of that alcohol out of your system. And it's just not worth it, because I kind of see it as, I want to be here for a long time. I want to be healthy. I don't want to be ill, you know, and so I really want to work hard to make sure that I'm doing the best for my body long term. I'm not only thinking about now and the fun times in this moment, you know. I'm always thinking, like, I always joke with Shelton and say, like, when we're 80, you know, that's just what happens in my brain. I'm like, I want to be laughing and like enjoying myself. I don't want to be frail, and, you know, of course that's the natural aging process, but I do think that we can there are small changes we can make in our daily life to live a better, happier, longer life.
100%. Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. And to the people that do drink, guys, please take a shot for me this weekend.
Yeah, me too.
Pop a
Take
bottle, have fun. Like, we also do know that, you know, there's just like, you know, there's people that really do know how to handle the alcohol. It's something they enjoy doing. It's something that, you know, to each his own. Like,
everyone is different.
I don't think it's like there's really worse things that people are doing in this world honestly, and I think alcohol is definitely not like on that list, you know. So to my people that are still popping bottles and taking shots, please take one for me this weekend. I do look at you guys sometimes, whether I look at a movie. Ask Bianca, when I look at a movie, I'm like, oh, that glass of wine looks good. Oh, that those people look like they're having fun. Oh,
or like a beer will look cold and all chilled, and you're like,
oh, a cold beer's on my
what I wanted to say. Okay, carry on.
Anyway, so anyway, just take a shot for me. We love and celebrate you guys as well. Don't even think that it's a.
Yes, this isn't bashing people who drink.
It's just POV. It's just on this side. That's why the podcast is called Better on This Side. It's just from our POV. How things are. So
before we go, what I wanted to say earlier was about mocktails, and like when I became sober curious, I learned or like figured out about myself that I just like a beautiful, like pretty looking drink. Like,
I told you, Bianca romanticized
it. I love it so much, like that. And I was like, maybe that's why I order cocktails, or that's why I drink, because I love a beautiful like drink in like a gorgeous glass with like garnish and like things, you know. I'm like, oh, this is so nice.
But I think that's nice for you. Because it's nice, right?
It is a nice drink. Because what I started...
For me, people are trying to... Yeah, no, not even that. It's just like people are always trying to be like, why don't you just do 0% alcohol? Bro, beer tastes terrible, bro. Like, beer is ugly. It's not a good taste. You're just going for the fact that you're going to get drunk and you're associated with like just everything. You need to get everything with it. Beer tastes terrible. There's no beer you'll ever tell me that's like, it's rich and bitter. And I love it.
To each their own. I'm sure there are people who are into it, but...
Your taste buds has issues, but I'll never do 0% alcohol, especially like a bitter, like strong, or like whiskey, or I don't know if there is stuff like that, but like wines or no, like it's different. A sparkling wine is sweet. It's like nicer rosés. That's different, and that's what I'm saying. Yours is probably nice. Like it tastes good. A 0% beer, bro. So people always used to try to get me onto that wagon, and I was like, oh hell.
I think it's also it's like an appreciation thing, because like I've always loved cocktails and cute looking, you know. So I'll sit at actually, remember that nice mocktail I made? It was like last summer, whatever.
That was good.
So listen, I have some good recipes. I actually want to get on that again when it gets warmer, but that's been so much fun, and like that's given me like I'm able to like enjoy my creativity and making a beautiful mocktail and like romanticizing the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my word, it tastes amazing just without the alcohol, you know, without the stuff that's like gonna alter my brain or whatever, you know. So that's our sobriety
journey. And we are on this side, and I guarantee you guys it is better on this side for us personally. And thank you so much for listening to our little sober story. This was a good AA meeting.
We love you guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Look at Mike, he's like out. So I just woke him up. Alright.
Bye guys.